Welcome to the official Topic Talk. Please like, share and subscribe.
Audio Jungle.
Now then, Steve, mate, how we doing?
How you doing, Bob? Hope you're doing well, sir.
Good. I'll just let the people in the chat know. Jimmy Cranston, click on the link, mate. You're welcome to join us. Anybody who doesn't know Steve, he's got a channel, and it's quite varied, Steve. And tell us a little bit about your channel, mate.
First of all, Bob, I just want to thank you because you gave me a good talk, and everything that you advised me, I've taken on board. Basically, Bobby, my channel's a bit of different subject, but at the moment, I've been touching on more or less around the grooming gangs at Telford.
Yeah, I did notice that. I mean, you've been getting quite in depth with it, and I'll tell you what, Steve, it's a subject that not anybody can cover because it's very dark, and it takes a special person to be actually do the research on that because it's a very dark subject, isn't it? I mean, do you not find that, after doing some research, you find that you need a rest from it to because you're taking a heck of a lot on?
Yes, Bobby. I do tend to try and give myself sufficient breaks in between and to chuck a different subject in the mix in between. That seems to help the mind not get involved too deeply with it. But what I'm now going to be heading, as he's not really spoke about much in the UK, and that's the Muslim girls that have been groomed. I mean, that's never really been spoken about from what I can see in the news.
Right. Now, can I just say, what's your thoughts, Steve, on the media blackouts? Now, we all know they happen. And do you think there's been media blackouts with these cases?
I do believe that, yes. But I'm also believing the side that there is police corruption within this area and this field of the grooming gangs as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to pull out to the people from here on out is it's just not white girls that are falling prey to these grooming gangs. It's actually the Muslim girls that are also, falling into their grotty hands. Right.
And it derives from a culture. Is that how it works? That it's the culture of the of these people is that is that where it all starts?
I'm not too sure, Bob, on how to answer that right now, but maybe a couple of months' time I might have a more clearer answer for that one. But I have looked into Bollywood films,
right,
and how they glamorize grape.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure because Bollywood being the Indian version of the film industry, feeling that they shouldn't be glamorizing these sort of films within their culture.
Right. The problem is, you see, is that Bollywood, etc. It's the internet is very difficult to police because we've got hundreds of countries with all different laws. So, like for us to speak on something from another culture, another country, it's difficult because we do tend to judge things on our culture, what's right and what's wrong. But if somebody brings their natural born culture from their country to another country, I think that's where it collides. Is that right? Do you think that's right?
Yeah, I believe so. Some other countries obviously got different beliefs, different laws to what we got over here in the UK. And what the people and population have got to understand is, even though they were born in a different country and they come over to the UK to live, they've got to understand that they can still withhold their beliefs, but they have to live by the UK laws.
Right. Yeah, of course. Law of the land. I mean, I lived in a Muslim country for 6 years, and I had to live by them law of the land there, and one of the things that upset my wife when we were there were they didn't have respect for animals, and dogs were street dogs. And there was one culture that really shocked me, was that what they did, those that took dogs on, they took them on as guard dogs, and believe it or not, they chopped their ears off because they said they could hear better, which is a strange thing to do. And that had been going on for years, and the government was still allowing that to happen. Now, my wife was totally devastated by this, and I told her while we was there, there's nothing you can do about it. It takes years to educate people, and they're thinking their culture. But if they bring it abroad to another culture, surely they have to adapt like I had to adapt. And I think that's the problem with the Western world, and the rest of the world. There's a huge gap between both, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, I'm an animal lover myself, and something caught my eye last month. They were basically using like puppies. They had like a puppy farm,
right?
And this company was producing puppies in the UK to be used as like guinea pigs. I don't know what your thoughts and ideas on that subject is.
Right. When you say guinea pigs, what do you mean?
There's a company that produces puppies.
Right.
Little dogs of
yes.
of a certain breed.
Right.
But they've been bred purely to be guinea pigs for like scientific purposes.
Right. Yeah. That's a subject you're moving on to there. That's quite. How could I say it? Controversial. It's there's lots of even in this country, there's with the situation with even battery ends, people disagree with in this country, and it's a very it's a fine line between wrong, and this is my personal opinion, between wrong and you've got to evolve. I disagree with doing experiments on any animal to progress, to evolve. But it does happen, and I think it happens in most countries. That we all know for years and years, monkeys, mice, etc., were used in experiments to cure illnesses. It's a fine line, because where do you stop? Ultimately we are here to protect the human race and evolve the human race. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So it's a strange one to me, is that. And then there's extremes like your vegans, who your proactive vegans. I mean, there's plenty of vegans out there that just refuse to eat dairy products and vegetable and meat, etc. And then there's the proactive ones that are out to destroy things. At the other hand, you've got the fox hunting, which for centuries was a sport of the lords, the hierarchy.
Yeah.
And that you see what I'm trying to say is.
I see they soon came round to banning all that fox hunting.
Yes, they did.
Even though it was part of our way back then.
Yeah, heritage. Yeah.
Yeah. They've even banned that today.
Yeah. So where do you stop progression? And where do you and there's cruelty to me, and there's evolution, if you like. Either way, it's a sad situation when the animals are used for these things. It's a sad situation. But ultimately, what the human race, what the aim of the world leaders is to strain and progress human race. We've got to, you know, let's be honest, there's not a cure for a common cold. All them years they had these test centres where people could go and you know, be given a dose of cold, if you like, and they still cannot cure a common cold. So where do you stop? At the same time, there's the big C, which is just something that is totally, you know, wiping everybody out and everything out, and they've never really got to grips with that. You know, where do you stop? What's your thoughts on that, Steve?
I mean, every day I suppose they're finding some way, shape, or form the cures or to slow down the big C. You know, I'm a big supporter of that. If they push more forward, you know, eventually they might not find a total cure, but they will find something more relevant than what there is available today, you know, to slow it down considerably. So someone could have, like, instead of having months, they can have like years, you know, and hopefully over the coming years, there will be something available to fight this big C, because it's taken a lot of good people.
Right. You see, it's never ending. The subjects you can talk about are never ending. I mean, when you start talking about conspiracy theories, there's people out there that believe that there's actually a cure for it, because they make so much money in the pharmaceutical business, they hold things back. Now, what their defense is of these people who believe this conspiracy is that it's out there, they've got a cure for it, but they're holding back because they're making millions and billions out of pharmaceutical medicine, if you like. You know, there's that edge to it as well. You know, is finance more important than life? It's such a big subject you can cover.
That's true. I have heard that there is serious stories floating around that there is actually a cure out there, but they want to hold back because of, like you just rightfully said, monetary purposes within the pharmaceutical companies. For them to push, whether that's true or not, I don't know. Could be a possibly. Anyway, just changing the subject slightly, Bobby. I think this country's in for a lot of change now that the Queen's gone. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, we're entering a different era. The second Elizabethan era's gone. We've got Charles III now. I don't think the monarchy is popular. The Queen, I think, was very popular. And she's the only monarch we've known. Most people today, there's very few people who don't. I mean, my wife's father's 92, and he remembers her father being you know, on the throne. But Charles, he's got to win the people over. I think he's got to, you know.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, Bobby, what I think, big up Karma Corner in the chat, the body in the bog. He's back, but the nice conclusion.
Hi, Karma. Jump on, Karma, if you want.
Yeah, jump on, Corner. I honestly think, Bobby, there is no one in the whole world that can fill the Queen's shoes in what she's done over a 70-year reign.
Yes.
I can't see the country going. Charles, I think he's going to struggle, to be honest, to fill the shoes of the Queen.
Well, he's you know, I mean, in my opinion, personal opinion, I'm not a fan of the monarchy, but I was a fan of Queen Elizabeth, and I thought she's a good example of loyalty, and our job should be done. She was absolutely excellent all the way through. Well, obviously, is what I remember. He's got big shoes to fill, but he's had goodness me, 50 years of learning, if you like. You know, so he's got the most qualified heir to the throne, if you like, that you could do. Ronan, jump on, mate. Good to see you. It's my first live. Is this? I was just going to come on for a few minutes to check out how things are. It'd be nice to catch up. Karma, you'll jump on as well, mate. We're having a nice casual chat. It's all positive. And we're talking to Steve from the official Topic Talk. And we're just on general, current affairs, if you like. Feel free to jump on, anybody. It'd be nice to catch up with you. Yeah. So he's the most qualified guy to fill that job, if you like. That's my opinion.
He's definitely going to struggle, and I mean, we're definitely in for change. And whether it's for the better, whether it's for the bad, I don't know. But we're definitely pushing the world into a new era.
Yes,
definitely for that one.
I mean, I don't think most people realise what kind of change we've got. We've got a lot of change. Karma Corner wants your link, Steve, to your channel. I don't know if you can put it in. Yes, there's going to be a lot of change. I mean, you think about the physical changes, such as currency, all the coins and the notes are all going to be changed. Your post box, anything with the Queen's emblem on is going to be the King's emblem, and we're going to actually walk out the door eventually in time, and it's going to be a different world, if you like. It's not. But let's not forget what she did. I think she was a world ambassador that kept a lot of peace. She was a diplomat that kept a lot of peace. She went around the world and she did it very well. That's my opinion.
Yeah, she did. And
thanks, Ronan.
Ronan, can you put my link in the comment section for me channel for Karma?
Evening, Karma.
1 second, I've just got to sort this. Right, where am I now? Where am I? I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're loud and clear, mate. Loud and clear. How are you doing?
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
We've had a full day being you, Carmen, haven't we?
A fun-packed day. Been dragged to hell and back.
If I ain't been on, Carmen,
I want to get audio in one ear here.
I think I'll be honest with you, Carmen. I think that chat you had with Jockney, it was very positive, and I feel as though he's come onto the right page.
Yeah, well, it had to be done with just me and Jockney there. Nobody putting their two anything in that, because it were a disagreement between me and Jockney. And yes. I'm glad I went on. I'm glad it all got sorted out.
Yeah.
But we're on about Queen, aren't we? We're on about Queen.
Yes.
That's gone. I'm going to give a conspiracy theory now. Right. I don't think Charlie is going to be in power for very long. I think there's going to be some happens that gets us shutting him, because I just don't think that the royals are going to be so popular with the younger generations with Charlie in power, because everybody remembers Diana, don't they? And everybody's still got the things about that and all that. And I just don't think people are going to take to royal family. And it's all about perception with royal family. It's that perception that they're on a different level to what we are.
What my wife said as soon as she heard about Queen passing, she says, "Oh, can't they bypass him?" That's what she said, because she was a fan.
Everybody thinks
she was a fan of Diana. But that's it. What were your thoughts on how the Queen held the job, Karma?
It's a job I wouldn't have given for a gold pig.
It's not in it.
Look, right. Everybody says about all that money and that, but you're scrutinised every second, or every day, of every week, of every month, all year round, 24/7. I won't have it for a gold pig. And like these bit royals, right? If I were going to be a royal, I'd want to be a lowly royal that gets all that money from government and gets all that money to keep their houses up and gets all that money to pay the staff because to let people go around their house. I want to be one of them, and they can carry on and have a normal life. Being a royal it's just something I won't want to do.
Well, apparently, for years that needs bringing down. I mean, the tentacles of the royals is unbelievable what are getting paid with the titles. It needs to be brought down to a family, not all this extended. But we live in a country, don't we, where it's a class system, very much a class system, and you're either in or out. I mean,
over time, I think it will change. Each government pinches another penny off them, pinches another penny off. Not in our generation, but in time, I think that they'll just be the royal family, the firm.
Yes, yes. What's your thoughts, Steve, lad?
I just know that the country's in for a change, and I'm hoping Charles does stand up to what's going to lie ahead for him, and I hope that he's around for a while. But like you say, like Karma says, sorry, he feels something's in the air in that respect. Let's wait and see what happens, eh?
Yeah.
Evening, Karma. I didn't get the chance to say hello, sir.
I took all your content down, you know. I sure wish I entered done now. I did ages ago, because you've taken the path of the righteous now, haven't you? After your misadventures with that certain person.
Yeah, I've gone down my own path now, Karma, and I'm gonna stick on my own path, and I'm not gonna let anybody say or dictate any way, shape, or form.
No, that's
I
be
took
yourself.
some time out to care for my wife, as
Be
people
yourself.
were shouting at me for to do. I did. I came back, and it's this is the real Steve now that you're seeing now.
Yeah, and I'm glad you've been actually, but not physically, but with people who you've had beef with in the past. I've seen that you're on Alden's. You and Humble seems to have patched everything up and everything. I think, I'm not sure, but that's what it looks like to me. So good on you, mate. Good on you. And I wanted your link so I could subscribe to your channel. That were all.
Yeah. I'll try and get me. I think someone's put it out there in the comment section. If not, I'll whack it on your channel later on, Karma.
Brilliant. No worries.
So,
the
Karma,
content I'm doing, it's going to be different from before. Go on, Bobby. I'll let you jump in there. I'm just going to go for a quick fag, guys.
Yeah, no worries. I was just going to ask Karma. I think you're a numbers man. You seem to be. You seem to be quite, educated when it comes to finances, etc. What do you think of all this? I've been seeing it on TV that they're going to regarding the energy bills. They're going to everybody's going to get £400. Have you seen it?
I don't watch news, but look, right. Let's look at it this way. The Conservatives are funded by big energy, big banking, and all this shit, right? BP produce the oil on the rigs. They're their rigs, or they outsource them to a subsidiary firm. So they're not paying the market value for the oil or the gas. They're pulling it out at ground at cost. Then it goes to BP's refinement centres. So BP aren't paying that oil to go to that refinement centre, and then it goes to BP petrol stations, and BP also sell it to other petrol stations. So all this farce about price of oil makes no difference if it's an internal structure. It's an internal structure from it coming out at ground until it going at petrol pump. So why, right? These are profits that weren't expected. They're abnormal profits. And what's she called? What's our new Prime Minister called? What's her name? I forgot her name already. I can't remember her name.
I knew until you said that. Oh, bloody hell, what is it?
Let's just call her Thatcher, right? Let's just call her Thatcher anyway.
She's another Thatcher, eh?
She's a Thatcher idol. And so what she said was, I did watch some of her one live when somebody said
Liz
to
Truss.
Truss, yeah. So somebody put to her, why don't you do a one-off tax on the energy companies? She says, well, we've taken as much as we can from them already. And if we take any more from them, it will weaken their confidence in making profits in this country in the future. Hold on a minute. It's our oil. It's our oil. It's out our ground. It's ours, not theirs. All they're doing is facilitating us getting it out at ground and putting it in his car or turning his heating on. And that's when I just thought, oh my God, we're in for a torrid time with this. And I can see it now. Right, not so much in this country. I mentioned this before, but in countries like Germany, France, Italy, that are really dependent on that Russian gas, he's going to turn taps off. He's going to do it, and they're going to have power cuts, and you're going to see riots. You're going to see riots in Europe. Not so much in this country. I think you'll see civil disobedience and lots of demonstrations because everybody's going to go on strike, right? Nobody wants to go on strike. If you go on strike, you lose your wages. So every day you're not working, you're losing money. But if you can't afford to have a reasonable standard of living, which we should all be allowed to have, if you're going out to work and you can't fill your car up, and when you're going and you're spending a full day's wage on your car and filling your car up, so then you've got 4 days, another day's wages going on paying on your energy, 400 quid. That's bollocks. Absolute bollocks. There needs to be done something. There needs to be a levy put in place where if they make these abnormally high profits, that they have to give something back. Look, they'll pay tax on it, but how much tax will they pay? Because they employ thousands and thousands of lawyers to work around the tax structure, because it's called tax avoidance, not tax. I can't remember. There's two different words. One's legal but unethical, and one's illegal. There's tax avoidance and tax manipulation, something like that. And that's what they do. And I'm going on a rant already, and it's a lovely, quiet chat. No. It's something that sticks in my side. This, because Labour aren't even saying out about it. They aren't saying, look, we need to do something for. It's not just the poorest in society anymore. It's all the way up to the middle class that are going to struggle. And then when they struggle, they can't afford to pay the mortgage. Right? Somebody sent me an email the other day, and when I went on about this, and they said he goes to auctions. He goes to auctions, and he says recently, last couple of months, he's seen a lot of heirlooms. You know, like people and what people collect, collectibles and stuff like that. And he says he's seen an abundance of these coming through auctions because people are struggling with the money. Yeah. So they're selling off shit. But he says they're getting like penny on pounds for it. So the more people struggle, the more they have to sell, the less the price. And this with inflation, it's impossible to control because it keeps going higher because of these energy bills. And then people want more wages because they need to get to work and they need to have that standard of living. So then they go on strike so they can get a pay rise. They get a pay rise. That feeds inflation, and we go round and round and round and round. Like Germany in 1939, when you used to have wheelbarrows full of money to get a loaf of bread. I'm not saying it's going to get that bad, but what I'm saying is it's what breeds extremism, because people get fed up. People want to blame somebody, and then you've got the papers like the Mail, and they'll isolate a group instead of looking at the banks and looking at the energy companies. They'll isolate a group and they'll blame them for all misery. Because remember, a long time ago, it was single mothers. They were to blame for everything, and then it was, I can't remember, but there's always some reason why. Oh, look what they've got, and it's always look over there while I pick your pocket. They're telling you to look at that other hand while they pick your pocket.
Correct. Distraction. That's
We're the fourth richest country in the world. You know that? Fourth richest country in the world.
Yeah, well, it used to be rule Britannia, didn't it? You know, we were the leading country in the world at one point. The most educated, you know, and, well, who can run the country? That's the problem. You know,
I'm going to run it. I'm going to show them how it's done.
We'll all vote for Kayama. This is it. I mean, sorry, I'm just reading the comments. A general election country. Sorry,
Bob.
Steve.
I was about to say, Khan would do a brilliant job running this country.
No, I won't. I'd have them all up against the wall. I'll tell you now. Pop, pop, bang. Pop, pop, bang.
We wouldn't have a problem.
People's mental wealth would get a lot better, wouldn't they? With the comedy he comes out with.
We wouldn't have a problem with prisons with Karma because he doesn't take no prisoners.
Line them up against the wall, Bobby. Line them up against the wall.
Correct. It's old school.
Eat the rich. That's what we ought to do. That'd save us money. Pick a rich person, club out here and hate them. Just start chucking limbs off them and hating them. That come from a. Oh, it wasn't Monty Python. It wasn't Monty Python gang, I think. And it would have. I can't remember it, but eat the rich. Eat the rich. If you got no money, eat the rich.
All right. Yeah. But like I say, we'll have a general election coming up. Within the next 2 years, who can run the country? Who can run the country? I don't think anybody's strong enough to. The last election, I didn't know who to vote for. I just didn't. My loyalty wasn't there. Growing up as a kid, you knew usually.
Labour.
When I was a kid, you usually followed your father. And what happened was, the whole family were. My dad used to say to me, "We've no choice to vote Labour because we're working class." Now it's all changed. When you look at the Labour Party, they're all eating educated people. They're all in. Boris Johnson was in the same class as David Cameron or it's and there were also Labour politicians in that same class at Oxford. It's just as though they're all pissing in the same pot.
It's called PPE. It's politics, politics. I can't remember what's that. What Greeks used to do? Philosophy, politics, philosophy, and economics, and that's what they study at this Eton and all that. It's called PPE, and that's what they do. They study to be a politician. That's why you never get a politician actually answering any questions, because they've been educated into how to not answer a question, so that when it turns back on them, when they're lying, they can say, "Well, I didn't actually say that. I didn't really say that, did I? If you look what I said, I actually said this," and they'll just lie to you. But I don't think there's any party that can do out in situation as it is now. We're at the beginning of a big change, and this when we're on about Queen, like Steve says, it's going to affect the country, but it's like a perfect storm. Everything's happening all at once. We've got social unrest. We've got unhappy employees. We've got employers that are struggling to keep them employees in work because of COVID, and we've been through all that. We're massively in debt. We're a bankrupt rock on edge of Europe, and we're running around the world buying nuclear submarines for £10 billion. We've got 3 of them. What do we need a nuclear submarine for? I've no idea. Look, if they're going to shoot at us, we're going to shoot at them. But we don't need a nuclear submarine to do it from. You know what I mean? It's just, we'll sneak up on them. But then it's that mad. It's that mutually assured destruction, that MAD, because that's what keeps us from going to war, because we've got that mutual assured destruction. But we've got all that on land. Why do we need them things?
I mean, exactly. I mean, this is controversial, but we send billions of pounds a year abroad. We give money away. Now, is that to keep peace, or is that just that we're...
No, it's to get... No, this... I know what you're on about. It's the foreign summit fund, foreign thing. Yeah. And what it is, it's basically for us to have influence over that country. So we're not really helping anybody, because it never gets down to grassroots at people. It goes to them government entities. And what they do, it's the foreign summit fund. I can't remember what it is. Foreign relief fund or something like that. That's and all it is, it's just to buy influence so businesses can move into that country. So they'll bung some minister £10 million and he'll say, "Oh, we're going to spend this on this amazing summit, it never happens, those housing project," and it never happens. It never happens because abroad, especially in African and Asian countries, them ministers and that, they're not really voted in as in a system as we've got. It's like 99% of them people are told to vote for these people, so they can do basically anything they want. And then they get all this money, and then they scoot off. They leg it. And then all that money that's gone, they've given away all them rights to all their precious metals, to their precious materials and all this shit. And they've got no for it, and that's why they're stuck in poverty. Because this foreign aid that we give them is only there to make sure that companies like BP, I can't name other ones, BP, get to move into that country. But it's not for our good. It's not for our tax benefit, because they make sure that they make no profits. Take Costa Coffee. Let me have a blast at Costa Coffee. Right. Costa Coffee imports the beans from Brazil and things like that. But they don't import them to England and France and Sweden. They import them to Sweden. And then they sell them to another company that they own for what is it? I can't remember. I've looked into this shit and what they do it, and then it's a subsidiary of their company. So and then when they sell it on, there's no profit in it for the English version. So they pay no tax in England, they pay no tax in Northern Ireland, they pay no tax in Wales, they pay no tax in Scotland, they pay no tax in France. All that money goes to Switzerland, where they've got like about a 5% corporation tax. And I'm having a rate rant. So
no, it's
what we're talking about, we're on about coffee beans now. Poor bellies.
But the thing is, as you said, it's going to be we're going to have change very soon, because people are working to live, and that is the problem, because of the cost of living, they just can't live. So what's the point?
Whoever can bring down the fuel prices, I'm going to vote for them this year.
Well, apparently they've come down slightly.
I've just filled that up. It was 174 for diesel, which is down 25 pence from what I was paying when I was off bombing around Scotland.
Yeah. But it's people are not, they're either going to revolt or they're going to give in. And as you said, Cameron, I think it'll end up where people just have had enough. There'll be some kind
Can you remember student demonstration when it were in London? It was I can't remember what year it was, when they want to make everybody have to pay for higher education. Right? I think there were a lot of people there. Just imagine that with disgruntled train workers and disgruntled factory workers and disgruntled wagon drivers. Look, these wagon companies aren't going to put up with this for long. They'll start doing them rolling roads, and then they'll just bring the country to a standstill. Train drivers will just all throw out sick. Instead of doing strike, they'll just say, I'm going to throw out sick this week, and they're going to do it en masse. And everything's just going to come to a crunch. It's just going to... There's going to be demonstrations, and there's going to be illegal demonstrations. There's going to be demonstrations clashing with other demonstrations. I never saw this winter of discontent when streets were full of rubbish and everybody were on strike, because they changed law then, didn't they? They changed law after that and changed it that you can't have a general strike. All unions can't band together and strike on the same day. So they made it illegal for that to happen. So what they'll do, Monday it'll be train workers, Tuesday it'll be wagon driving. Yeah. Wednesday it'll be G&As, general and some, I can't remember them all. But and then yellow vests. Somebody just put a brilliant comment in there. Then yellow vests. Remember that?
Yellow vest. What's yellow vest?
In France, they were doing they all just went on strike and they were demonstrating. I can't remember what it was. It might have been cost of living crisis, but a few years ago, and they all just because they were workers, they got yellow vests on. So then that became the emblem of all the stuff that went on in Paris. They all were there with yellow vests on. Do you know Yellow Ivy's vest?
Right, yeah.
And they were smashing place up. They were doing all sorts. But this is what happened. Once the rule of law starts to break down, right, we're governed by consent, right? If we want to follow them laws, we follow them laws. There's nothing stopping us from breaking laws. There's nothing to say, you can't do this, you can't do that. All the law's there for is to say, if you do that, there's repercussions. If you do that, you'll get a fine. If you do that, you'll go to prison. There's nothing that's stopping you from doing anything you want. And if it's illegal, you might get repercussions on it after. But there's nothing, because we govern by consent. If we want to break the law, we can break the law. But we might get caught breaking the law. So if people start removing that consent and just saying, fuck off, I'm walking in the supermarket, I'm filling my trolley up, and I'm walking out. What are you going to do? And there might be 30 or 40 people stood there with trolleys just walking out. Petrol station, people are just going to stop paying for it. Just going to drive in, fill up, and fuck off. And that's why I'm on about they're going to start using prepayment. So cash is going to go out at window. This is a way of getting out cash out of the system, because they don't like you having cash, because they can't trace cash. You can do what you want with cash. You can go anywhere you want, buy what you want, but they want to get shutter cash, so it's all digital, so that they've got a chain of events, so they can see exactly what you're doing and how much you've got and what you've spent it on.
Looking for footprints, that's what it is. They want everyone to leave a footprint, don't they? Yeah.
Well, can I just leave you in charge, boys? 2 minutes. I just have to go because
I'm going to have to drop off because I've got a curry coming. I've got a Ruby Murray on its way.
I'll be 10 seconds. I'm just off to tell our lass it's Karma's fault. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Untrustworthy. Bob's untrustworthy. That's it. I saw his ass then. I saw his builder's crack.
Hey, Carmen, you're going to have to come out with a new name for me now instead of
But
in the bog, was it?
I know. I don't know. We'll think of something.
You'll find something. I mean,
it wouldn't be as aggressive as that.
I mean, I find that quite amusing, actually. I mean, all the work that you've done, I find amusing. I mean, if I'm ever in a bad mood, I'll stick one of your videos on, and I guarantee you I'll be laughing, for at least a couple of hours. I
mentioned all this earlier because I removed about, I think it was 300,000 views, something like that, a load of views off my channel, because I'd taken down my acro and I was just explaining, look, because somebody's saying, well, what it up? And I said, yeah, it was. And I explained that I'd taken a load of videos down. Like, you know, Mr. Potato, King of Potato.
Yeah,
I took all his... He might be a king of potato, but he's still a potato. I took all his...
removed them.
Oh, yeah, I've taken them off. I've taken them down because, you know, it were a time in people's lives that they needed to be up. They don't need to be up there anymore because people aren't the same people as they were then. So...
Yeah, but what about the likes of people like us that look at that just for a laugh, and it's guaranteed to make you laugh? It needs to.
I know, but he didn't like it, did he? King of Potatoes, he didn't like it.
Oh, we're talking about
when he come back as what was that? When he come on as Mad X? Can you remember when he come back as Mad X?
Yeah,
Bad X or Mad X, and he put a voice changer on. So I reverbed it and took bass off it and took pitch down, and it was him.
Connery's still out there. I'll tell you,
is he
out there somewhere?
Oh, as long as he's leaving me alone, I'm all right. I just he's
a potato, but he's still a potato, whether it's mashed or chips.
The king of potatoes. He's still a fucking potato. He might be a king, but he's still a fucking potato.
Right, mate, lads. I don't want to talk about DH, the beast.
Nah.
But
that's distressing.
All I want to say,
there's enough out there about him for people to realise.
Yeah, all I want to say is, I think there's breakthroughs. I think things are, are breaking through now, and it's going to calm down. And we're all going to move.
All I want to say, Bobby, is I get lots of emails telling me that they've seen the light. That's all I want to say about it. That's it. I'm not going to, because if we start going on about it, we're going to start getting them all.
That's what I'm saying. All I want to say is, I think there's breakthroughs, and it's going to come to an end, and we'll move on. Now, Steve's moved on. He's got his own little channel there. It's a bit controversial. When you have a look, Carmi, you'll see that Steve's deeper into things that are very dark. And it's not something anybody could take on. It depressed me if I had to do, but good on him. He's highlighting, corruption, etc. What avenue are you going to go down, Karma, with your channel?
I'll tell you what I like doing. I want to do my quizzes again. I like my quizzes. They make me laugh. They're like therapy for me. Them with comments because some comments are fucking hilarious. But like that with breakfast thing, I like to do that on the morning. Take dogs out, and I'll do that, and then I'll go about my day because it gives me a giggle. I try to make them funny, but at the minute we've got news at Shed going off, so I'm stuck on news at Shed at the minute.
You interact big time with your chat, don't you? I mean, you're very much into the chat, and you interact with them one-to-one, which is great. It's great. I wish I had that skill. It's very good.
But that's what makes them enjoyable for me. That's why I like to do them live like that. But sometimes I can't do videos live because I need to concentrate on certain things. But doing them live and listening to chat, like names they come up with for the channel name, they're going to have my pants down every time because I just read them out. And then I'll read them out and it'll be like, Ivor Biggin. Do you know what I mean? And you think, Ivor Biggin. Somebody, I need to do this one though. I know we're not talking about Decker, but somebody did him with a beauty the other day. I can't remember it, but they sent me a screenshot and said, this should be a national sport. And it was something really offensive. I can't remember what it was, but it was in two separate words. So Dick, the Dastardize is doing these things about hard men and things like that. Somebody asked him, do you know this person? But when you read it out, you didn't really notice. And he says, no, I've never heard of him. Is he any friends of so-and-so? And it was something like, I'm a something like I'm a great.
I remember that Karma. I pissed myself laughing at that.
He replied to it. He's a fucking right idiot. Anyway, I'm not speaking about him. I'm going to have to go because me curry will be here in a minute anyway. So have a good evening, ladies.
Thanks for coming on, Karma. You're always welcome.
Nice to see you back, boy. Nice to see you back. Nice to see a friendly face in the war zone.
we'd like to see more of your dogs because they're a lot better looking than you.
I'm thinking that when he drops it off, I'm going to see how much they'll give me for them. You know, for curries. See, because they're getting about £2 a pound now for a dog.
I'm a dog lover, and you got two gorgeous dogs there.
I'm taking them off. I don't know when. I'm tired. That's why I've been and filled van up. So I'm ready. So I'll probably.
You know what I like? I like it because you go into woods or whatever, and you let the dogs off, and that's great because that's what dogs want, innit? They don't want walking down path that side of the road with lead on.
But this is why I'm taking them off, because she ran off, didn't she, last week when I was doing my crossbow?
Oh,
she didn't like. Yeah, and she were off for a couple of hours, and she got found, and she's been really clingy since. Like I took her out this morning, she were all right. Like when I was doing that acro thing, she were off running about, but then she'd come running back and then running. Do you know that, as if to say, "Are you still here? Are you still here?" So I want to take her to the beach so she can have a good run up and down on beach, and try and get it out of the system. But it's nearly firework time, isn't it, soon and all, so she's going to be timid with that.
Did you sort that mohawk you give her? When clippers failed on you.
Oh, yeah, got some more clippers.
Poor lassie, she was running around with
she looked like she'd been in a fire. Here for a hair missing and hip and it's stuck up. Anyway, I'll catch you later. Right, Steve, catch you later, mate.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Cheers, mate.
That's one man, Bobby, that could bloody.
I'll tell you what it is with Karma. He's openly admits that he's got a condition. When he does something, he has to get to the bottom of everything. And his example was, if somebody's wearing a pair of shoes in a shop, he might not know them. They're sat there with his shoes on, or in a restaurant. He'll look and he'll think, "Are they leather? I wonder how much them cost. I wonder what size feet they've got." And he openly admits that's how his brain works. So if you take the humour away, he's very intense. His Karma, and he's got a very intelligent, and he's like a little bit like an autistic person, if you like, when it comes to getting to the bottom of things. So that's why he's always 1,000% sure before he says anything or puts anything out. He's, as Peter says there, Peter Pan, addictive personality. He's a one-off. He's a one-off.
Oh, definitely. He's definitely one of a kind, and he ain't replaceable, guaranteed.
If any of the mods, the lovely new mods, could put Steve's link back in the chat. Just tell us again, Steve, a little bit about your channel and what they can see over there.
Yes, my channel, it's as Bobby says, it's a bit controversial with some of the subjects that I'm touching on at the moment. It's basically I'm highlighting the grooming gangs in the Telford area, and there's a few other little bits and pieces chucked in on the mix. I've done a prison visit. I went round the old shut down door on the prison.
I saw that one. Yeah, I saw that one.
I had a bit of fun there, actually, because I remember, strangely enough, I've only ever done 3 sentences in my whole life. And strangely enough, each sentence I've done, I ended up in exactly the same cell each time. But the sentences were like years and years apart. And to think I could actually go back from the outside and to video the cell that I was actually in on 3 separate occasions in my life. I found that quite interesting, and also the history that went with the prison itself, because I do believe it probably back in the 60s they used to hang people, and they do ghost hunts in there now as well.
Well, I've done an hour, Steve. I don't want to. Sorry, I just want to cut in. Do you do lives? Is the part one?
I'm going to start doing lives, Bobby.
And
once the live settles out a bit, I'll do some lives, and I'd like you to come on.
Yeah, certainly. And do you do documentary style stuff? Is it part 1, part 2, or is it just short videos?
The documentary side of it, of the grooming, yes, I will be placing the subject into documentary, so I can cover everything.
Well, if you look in the chat, guys, there's Steve's link. If you want to go across and subscribe to him, see what you think. As I said, some controversial subjects. He does focus on exposure, and you know, he goes in depth. He goes in depth. I'll put it that way, and it's very interesting. Very interesting. I've noticed that you've done some local things with like local galas and things like that. You keep things. Some more uplifting stuff as well.
I think originally what I wanted to base this channel around was my hometown, basically.
Right.
Anything and everything to do with like Telford.
Right. Right.
It just so happens that the nasty, darker side of Telford, you know, I need to get the awareness out there.
Yes.
For these things, and also to make people understand that it's just not white girls that go through this; it's also Muslim girls that fall prey to the Muslim grooming gangs.
Right.
And there's going to be quite a few bits and pieces I'm going to be doing in the near future. I'm going to be interviewing some interesting people. Towards the end of this month, I've got Mr. Singh coming on from the Sikh Awareness Society.
Right.
So I can get some point of views about these Muslim girls that are falling prey to the grooming gangs, because that's the side that I don't know about. I know and understand to the white girls that have fallen victims, but I haven't heard or seen in the news or anything about the Muslim girls that are falling prey to this horrible people.
Right. So there you go, guys. We're gonna have to call it a day. Yeah, we're gonna have to call it a day, Steve.
Bobby, thank you ever so much for having me on, and I know I know we haven't seen eye to eye in the past, but that's all behind me now, and this is the true person coming out. You've given me good advice, and I've taken it on board.
Thank you.
And it's the best words that you could have ever said to me, Bobby.
Look, I always say this. Yeah, any good man deserves a second chance. And if you show you're a good man, I'm behind you every time. And that's where we're at, Steve. So look, yeah, you keep the channel up. Guys, go across, and hopefully Steve will send a few to me. And we'll keep in touch. And I want to thank everybody for joining me. I'm absolutely overwhelmed because I just thought I'd do a quick live. And all you guys have jumped on. I'm going to come back tomorrow evening. So if you're free, Steve, you're welcome to join us around about 9 o'clock for possibly another hour, just to catch up on what's happening, you know. And I think it's nice to have a little general conversation about world, you know, current affairs, if you like. And that's where we've been tonight. It's been nice, you know. It hasn't been that intense. It's been a nice change. So
everybody sub to Bobby's new channel, The Honest Truth.
Thank you.
I'm sure there's a link out there, and Bobby's going to be doing some amazing stuff, as he was before previous. And I'm glad that this gentleman's back, because he is a true gentleman.
Thank you very much, my friend. So, yes. So thanks again, Steve, for coming along. If Ronan's still in the chat, you're welcome to join us tomorrow night. Ronan, another channel that people should visit. He's an Irish guy. He does a lot of podcast interviews, a very wide variety of conversations he has, and people he gets on. Not too controversial, you know, but he does dig deep as well, does Ronan, and that's Old and Official. So if you want to go across there, have a look at Old and Official. Yeah, that's Ronan. So thanks again, Steve. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thanks everybody in the chat, and I'll say God bless, Godspeed, and look after yourselves. We'll catch you all later. Thanks, Steve.
Cheers, Bobby.
Good night, everybody.